This meeting is being recorded.
Very, very official. All right. So, yeah, it makes sense to just start at the beginning. So even before we began to work together, Katelyn, and either of you can answer this, but what got you interested in the CLT initially?
My older brother had taken it. That's where we kind of heard about it. He had taken the SAT and same as me, needed a couple more points to get a little more scholarship money. So he took it. And then when I kind of landed in the same situation, we figured I'll try it.
Yeah. Okay, great. So I guess, Jennifer, how did you first find it as a parent?
Well, like Kate said, I think it was Matt, right? Yeah. We didn't really know much about it at that time. Matt, that would have been 2020, I think, for Matt. Yeah. And so it was fortuitous because, like Kate said, he had taken the SAT and then needed to take it again, but then COVID hit and they weren't offering the SAT. Right. And I had heard of the CLT, but didn't really know much about it. But that event of COVID and CLT was the only, the only option really out there at that time because everything else had stopped. And CLT was offering online. And so we looked into that and he took it a few times. And that's what really introduced us to it, other than just having heard about it vaguely in the past.
Yeah, I think it got a lot of traction during COVID because it could be done online.
Yes, it must have. Yeah.
Yeah, but also, I think they have great kind of customer service and are
it was a great experience. It worked out great with Matt, and it was easy to do at home, and since he took it, now I've heard of more people that I know, taking it, and we certainly recommend it. So yeah, we're glad.
Yeah, great. Well, then talk about the journey of taking it, practicing, and getting to a point where you felt you needed tutoring.
Yeah, man, that started a while ago. I gotta think all over. Well, we just kind of took it the first time as kind of like a baseline. Where am I at? Where am I gonna land? And I was decently close to the points threshold of the next scholarship level to where we felt like it was worthwhile pursuing again. Right. And at that point, we kind of just did, test prep on our own. We used Khan Academy a little bit, but they're more geared toward SAT style math. So even though I had been doing that as my test prep, when I took the CLT again, I saw a tiny bit of improvement, but not really much. And then we were getting down to wire. I could only take it one more time. And that's when we kind of looked into tutoring options and found you guys because we figured it was worthwhile. If we could get a significant amount more in scholarships, it would be worth whatever we put into it on this end.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's nice when the potential return on investment is very clear, isn't it?
Yes.
Colleges often make it very concrete what the goal is. And
right.
That's helpful. How involved were you during the process, Jennifer, just with when Katelyn was doing homework for me as the tutor? And did you all work together at all, or was she super independent? What did that look like?
Katelyn's very independent and very responsible for her own work.
Yep.
And no, my role was looking into options and doing that research on the front end to see what tutoring options were available to us, and I took care of that. And then once we found you and decided to go that route, it was all in Kate's hands. She yeah, I didn't need to remind her about anything. That's how she works. So.
Yes, that's the sense I got. Yep. And it was also nice for our work together that it was obvious where we could get those few points that you were looking
Mhm.
for, and that the quantitative reasoning section was the focus. Katelyn, what would you say was the most challenging part about improving on the math section?
I would say honestly just getting out of my own head, because I mean, they tried to lessen the importance of it. Mom and dad were just, it is what it is. If you get it, it's fine. But personally, I like to do as much as I can, and I put a lot of pressure on myself. So getting out of my head, because I would, get to problems where I wasn't as confident and just kind of psych myself out. So I think having that focused practice for a solid month really kind of helped me not freak out so quickly in the test. Just kind of go through it step by step and kind of just trust that I probably knew what to do instead of second guessing everything.
Yeah, that's really interesting that you point to confidence as being so important. Not just confidence isn't just like a nice byproduct of learning and being taught and kind of doing it yourself, but it actually leads to success because you don't second guess yourself, as you're saying. When you know what you're doing, that's encouraging. Great. Did you have doing this virtually? Any drawbacks or advantages to doing this online that you felt versus the opportunity to do it in person?
I don't think so. I think it actually made it easier to do because you didn't have to factor in travel time or different schedules, stuff like that. I think it was actually easier for it to fit into our schedule. I could just head into my room and do it for an hour and knock it out.
Yeah. Okay, great.
Yeah, and honestly, having the virtual option made it accessible to us at all, period, because we're not located near you, and there isn't another you near us. So really, it made it. If it hadn't been virtual, we wouldn't have been able to really do that.
Sure.
At all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, great.
We would have had to go with a tutoring program nearby that was more SAT based and not really, customized to the CLT.
Right. Yep, that's very true, and it's amazing what you can do with online tools these days. So then, Katelyn, you performed better on test day than on some of your practice tests. At least it was a very exciting result. But that's to perform better on test day than on practice tests is. I'm just curious how you felt you did that. What was it like for you on test day?
I kind of have like a mind blank when it comes to tests. Once I get in there, like I cram it out, but at the end, if somebody asks me how I think I did, I genuinely have no idea.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And
she didn't.
That's been a pattern over all the standardized tests I've taken. I don't know if it's maybe me subconsciously trying to save myself from disappointment. If I didn't do well, that could factor in, but I felt I did feel more confident in the moment. Like I felt that I knew more of the answers, but I mean, I really had just no idea how I was going to do. Like, we'll see.
Yeah.
Either way, I was done and that was that, and we'd see where I landed.
Sure. And can you just talk about the specific numbers, where you started, where you were hoping to get to, and where you ended up?
Yeah, let me try and remember.
Yeah, I mean, I know the total numbers.
Yeah.
I don't know the breakdown, but I know total numbers.
I think
you had gotten a 93 and you had gotten a 94.
And a 91.
And a 91.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And we needed a 98 to hit the next scholarship threshold. But Katelyn has the breakdown of the math and the.
Okay.
Yeah. So before the last one with you, they were all kind of similar ballpark. It was just the individual sections that fluctuated by a couple points.
Right.
But I needed either a 98 total or a 94 or above on the math to super score it.
You mean a 24 above?
94.
20, what did I say?
94.
Yeah.
Yeah,
24.
24 above on the math, right?
Yeah. And my highest math score was, I think, a 21 before then. And then I landed at 105 with a 38 reading, 39 reading, 36 writing, and a 30 math.
Yeah, very exciting. I bet you never thought you'd get a 30 on the math, huh?
No, that was exciting to see.
That was very
a big
exciting because we knew it was coming out that day. And I was just like holding my breath and praying because at that point, like I think I told you, it's like, if we get the money, great. But I just really wanted her to succeed because she put so much work into it. That was my main thing. I just wanted her to get that score and for her own sake. And and then she got the result and then texted it to me and her dad. And I was sitting with a group of my friends because we were at a homeschool event and I think I jumped up and like, oh my goodness. And I'm like, you have to see this, you guys. You have to share our joy in this.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Love that.
It was great.
What a happy day.
Yes, it was.
Big relief.
That's great.
Yeah. And from my perspective, what I found, no, you didn't ask me this specifically, but what I found most valuable in the tutoring was we started at a little bit of a disadvantage because our math program, the order in which it's done and the time frame in which we did it didn't really align well with the material on the tests. And so I knew there was a lot of material on the test that we just simply hadn't, learned. We hadn't learned yet. And so that's what we had attempted to kind of do on our own with Khan, and we'd go through the answers and I'd try to rely on my memory of math.
Right.
and we'd try to go through, well, why is, this one is right, and recall some strategies. And it just wasn't the most effective. We knew we could. I wasn't really being able to help with that as enough, and so that's when we started looking into the tutoring. Say, I wonder if you did some really tutoring on the math, and someone who knows what they're doing could really, kind of give you this crash course on these things that you haven't really gotten to yet, and that was just so invaluable.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
that's great. Thanks for sharing that part in particular. Yeah, I think no matter how good your math program is, or if you've done some of it, it's probably going to have been a while since you've done some of the math on the CLT, even if you did know it at some point.
Yeah,
kind of another factor involved in it too. Katelyn, speaking to high school students, just kind of thinking about the 4 years of high school, if you were to advise, when should a student start working on test prep, getting ready for CLT or SAT or whatever it might be?
That's hard because it depends on the person and what their trajectory is. But I would say, I know a lot of people are like, oh, if I don't get it done by like fall of junior year, then I'm behind and I'm stressed. I did not feel stressed leaving it, more towards senior year. Where I felt the stress was when I got into March of senior year.
Sure.
I was like, this was not where I thought I would be.
Yes.
So I would say, contrary to popular opinion, even getting into senior year is not too late to kind of line that up. I think it gives you a little bit more on the front end of just practice in school and in tests before you take that. I know just homeschooler culture, a lot of people tend to take it early. I have friends who are, sophomores taking it, and that seems a little excessive to me, not really necessary. So I would say
Mhm.
end of junior, beginning of senior is really when it's probably the most beneficial to take.
And would you say the kind of seasoning you get simply from growing older and having more education, especially on the verbal side, that's just helpful being older?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, also our school throughout, all of schooling, we've focused a lot on the verbal and the reading and writing. So a lot of that was just because of how we personally approached school. That was what we kind of focused on. But I would say being a little bit older, having more experience with tests and the content just kind of made it, at least like the actual test taking, less stressful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, great. That's really good feedback. So a couple of personal questions to wrap up. First, tell us about your plans.
I will be going to Taylor University in Indiana. I'll be majoring in psychology. I'll be a part of their honors program there. And then obviously this is down the road, but the plan is to then go and get my master's in counseling.
Fantastic. Okay. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And I don't know if you have, if you did anything fun to decompress after the CLT, anything to blow off steam?
I took the test and immediately went to a 6-hour musical.
Okay.
Different kind of decompressing, also high stress environment, but that's what I love to do. So
Hey.
Besides that, I just kind of took the next week and was just like, wow, I don't have to do all these hours of math prep. I have all this extra time. I have no big test to look forward to. So I think just kind of being done with it was decompressing.
That was nice, just to take it off the mental, the
no
mental
longer in the
burden
back of my head.
it is to know that you've done everything now. And
Right.
yeah. We had an ice cream cake that night for dessert.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
I'm glad you celebrated and did something fun that you find fun for the rest of that day as well.
Yeah.
That's a great feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Especially once the score comes back the way it turned out.
Yeah, and I would just add, Katelyn's our third child. So my oldest did the SAT alone. Second did the SAT and the CLT several times, but no extra help from outside. And then Katelyn, was the first one to take advantage of the tutoring. And after her experience, I think I kind of said to my husband, I'm like, okay, we're just going to do this right from the get-go next time, because, even if we're not at kind of that like crisis point of, oh, we really need to hit this number, even if it just saves the stress of multiple retakes that aren't really necessary, and to get that added help, I think is just so worth it. So we have 3 more coming up. So
That's awesome.
You very well may be seeing all of them earlier on in the process.
We've definitely seen that before where, getting to help the whole family and hello again,
Yeah, definitely was so worth the time and the money, and I think just taking advantage of it, even just as a regular course of things, will help the other kids to just have a better testing experience overall.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. And students sometimes see side benefits that are even related to school, just with
right,
test taking or problem solving, kind of the way that you approach material that's presented to you.
Right.
There.
Yeah.
Great.
So we're grateful. Grateful you popped up on the internet search.
Wonderful. Well, thanks so much for saying that and for taking this time.
Absolutely. And thank you for all your help and for making it enjoyable and, and, not, it was fun.
Not too painful.
Yeah, no, it's great.